Number 7, Texas Tech is undefeated no longer as the Red Raiders head out west and lose 26-22 to Arizona State. In today's video, we'll discuss how the Red Raider offense completely disappeared in the first half, how the Texas Tech defense did everything they could considering the circumstance, and how QB1 is very clear on this Texas Tech roster. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. If you can't tell, my voice is not in great shape right now as I was cheering just like you guys were for a Texas Tech victory. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and there's a lot of reasons why. We'll discuss that in today's video, but before we do, give me your one-word reaction to Texas Tech and their loss at Arizona State. I'll give mine later on, but I mean, where there shouldn't be a discussion on the quarterback front. Let's just say that. All right, let's get into stats for this one. As I mentioned, 26-22. First and foremost, I want to give an abundance of credit to the Arizona State defense. I thought they were sensational in this game. I understand that they gave up 15 in the fourth, and Texas Tech had the lead late, and then a couple things didn't go the Red Raider defense way, but I thought Texas Tech was defensively was really good in this game. It's just you're going to run out of gas when you're on the, gridiron for 37 plus minutes. Just the reality of the situation. All right. Will Hammond, 22 for 37, 167, 2 TDs, 1 interception. I thought he was in this game as a passer. He was your leading rusher, 15 carries, 47 yards, a touchdown. Texas Tech on the day averaged 4 yards per carry on 27 attempts, 109 yards of rushing offense. I mean, I'm so frustrated from the standpoint of this. Again, I want to give all the credit in the world to Arizona State. I thought they were phenomenal in this game, specifically on the defensive side of the football. The defensive coordinator for Arizona State made Mac Leftwich one of the rising stars in college football from a play calling perspective. Just look pedestrian, to say the least. I didn't think Mac did a good job at making adjustments. You saw what Arizona State was doing early on. They were putting 7 guys in the box, and Mac Leftwich refused to adjust. And it was really one of the detriments to the Texas Tech offense in terms of the first half. Now, was that the only reason Texas Tech lost? No, I don't think so. I think there were a few things that didn't go the Red Raiders' way. But I thought Sam Leavitt proved why he was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, if not the best guy coming into the season. Will Hammond, though, when it comes down to it, he had no favors given to him when it came to Mac Leftwich. That is my biggest qualm with this game for the Red Raiders. And I am not trying to put all the blame on Mac Leftwich, but I am putting a substantial amount of it on Mac Leftwich. He made little to no adjustments, and he did not put Will Hammond in a position to succeed. I mean, you go back and look at the first half for the Red Raiders, everything was sideline to sideline. They refused to go vertical in the passing game. They just didn't. There was one play, maybe 2, that they went vertical through the seams, and one of them was the touchdown from Will Hammond to Coy Aiken, and that was because it was a streak across the middle of the field, and then they threw it to Terrence Carter Jr. We don't know exactly what happened to Terrence Carter Jr. in terms of the specifics of the injury, but it didn't look great. He hobbled off the field, and I don't think we saw him in the second half after that. It was John Carlos Miller II in terms of the tight end spot for the Red Raiders. I thought Texas Tech really got just out-coached in this football game, really on all sides of the football, most notably when it came to the offense. That's where it stands out. I thought Shield Wood really put the Texas Tech defense, in a position to succeed. But at the end of the day, when you're on the field for 37 plus minutes, there's only so much you can do. If you're Texas Tech, the defense looked gassed in the second half, and it caught up with them, specifically on that last drive where, give credit to Arizona State, they scored a touchdown with less than a minute to go, and Texas Tech tried to go down the field, and they had an opportunity at a Hail Mary of sorts. I believe it was like 30-plus yards, nothing crazy, but it went off the hands of Caleb Payday Douglas, fell to the ground, and Arizona State rushed the field and beat a top 10 team at home. This is the thing that stands out to me when it comes to Texas Tech in this football game. And again, let me know your one word to describe this Texas Tech loss at Arizona State. For anyone that tells you Will Hammond should be the starting quarterback right now for the Red Raiders, they're wrong. And that's not indicative of the talent Will Hammond has. I don't even think it's indicative of the future Will Hammond has in the Scarlet and Black. We've talked about it ad nauseum here on this channel. We've been ridiculed in the comments for saying this. Behren Morton gives the Red Raiders the best opportunity to hit their ceiling. Some people were laughing at me in the comments saying, no, that's not true, RC. Will Hammond can run the football. Great. Where did that get you? Against top-tier competition in the Big 12. This offense is suited for Behren Morton, okay? There were multiple opportunities that this offense had to stretch the field, and they just refused to do it. Why? I think it was because Will Hammond was the starting quarterback. Again, I am not being critical of Will Hammond. I am being critical of Mac Leftwich. That's who I'm being critical of, because it just felt like this was a piss poor game plan that really didn't put Will Hammond in a proper position to succeed. I thought they ran QB power in certain situations, and just Arizona State knew it was coming. Shout out to the Arizona State defensive coordinator. I thought he did a phenomenal job, as I mentioned earlier. In Texas Tech, it felt like was lackadaisical offensively. They refused to use the middle of the field for large portions of this football game. And truth be told, I think that that's what came back and bit them in the ass, because you go look at what Arizona State was doing defensively. And again, I want to give the utmost credit to their defensive coordinator and the players on the Arizona State defense. They balled out in this football game, considering Texas Tech scored 22 points in this one. The Red Raiders were averaging north of 50 points per game coming into this one. And I get it. You have a backup quarterback. He was making his second career start. His only other start was in the Liberty Bowl against Arkansas, right? I think people got ahead of their skis because of what they saw Will Hammond do against Utah. Utah was game planning for Behren Morton, and Will Hammond, to his credit, came in and balled out. That being said, I am not putting the blame on Will Hammond. I thought he made a couple of great reads, but the game plan from an offensive standpoint that Mac Leftwich drew up for this game just didn't work, and they didn't make adjustments. Am I scared long-term for Texas Tech offensively? I'm not. I'm really not. That being said, I think we just got to call a spade a spade. The offense was bad tonight, and it starts with the offensive coordinator, Mac Leftwich. I understand I'm being hypercritical of him, but this team has championship aspirations. Damn it, I'm going to be hypercritical when he fails, and he failed tonight. He failed to put Will Hammond in the proper position to succeed. He failed to put this offensive line in the proper position to succeed. Yes, there were a couple injuries, most notably Behren Morton and Terrence Carter Jr., who hobbled off, and we don't know his injury status right now. But this Texas Tech offense let down the Texas Tech defense because, again, the Red Raider defense, as you can see on your screen right now, was on the field for 37-plus minutes. What do you expect them to do? I don't even think the Arizona State offense was that great tonight. I would expect, if we're being honest, Kenny Dillingham to say the same thing. You held them to 2.1 yards a carry. Yes, Jordan Tyson had 17 targets, as he should. We talked about it coming into this game. He is the best wide receiver draft eligible in the country. Jeremiah Smith is better. You got Ryan Williams, and you got Coleman at Auburn, right? Those are the three best in my opinion, but Jordan Tyson is right up there with them. I didn't understand how Texas Tech didn't bracket him at some points, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to blame the defense for this loss. This one's on the offense, and it's not on Will Hammond either. It's not. I think it's on Mac Leftwich. And again, maybe I'm being hypercritical. Call me out in the comments if I am, but I thought Texas Tech just laid an absolute monumental egg offensively in the first half, and truthfully, it came back and bit them in the ass late. I thought they were okay in the third quarter. There were a couple of plays that didn't go their way. Obviously, they scored 15 in the fourth, and they had a chance to win. But at the end of the day, if you were asking your defense to be on the field for 37-plus minutes, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose, even if it's this great defense that Texas Tech has. It's just the reality of the situation. And unfortunately for the Red Raiders, they left too much time for Arizona State. The defense couldn't hold because they were absolutely gassed in this one. And hats off to Arizona State. They beat Texas Tech in this one. And really, I think the biggest thing that stands out to me, I thought the Red Raiders were thoroughly outcoached in this football game. And that's the reason they lost it. Not because Will Hammond was playing and not Baron Morton, even though it's clear to see that this offense is built around Baron Morton. I don't think that's shocking. He's clearly QB1. And if you say otherwise after this game, I don't know what the hell you're watching. And that's, again, not a shot at Will Hammond. He will be phenomenal for the Red Raiders as a starter next year. But right now, this team is built around Baron Morton, and the Red Raiders can't get him back soon enough. And the Red Raiders fall to 6-1 on the season. And now things become a lot more interesting for Texas Tech. The odds-on favorite to win the Big 12, I mean, they probably still should be, but at the end of the day, that gap between them and the next team, it's going to shrink substantially. I can tell you that. But again, before we head out of here, one word to describe this Texas Tech loss at Arizona State, 26-22. The Red Raiders head back to Lubbock, 6-1. And I mean, the biggest question now is how do they adjust? How do they rebound from this? You want some adversity for a team that you think truly does have not only Big 12 title aspirations, but college football playoff and national title aspirations as well. How do they respond? I'm looking at you most notably, offense, because I thought the Texas Tech defense was actually pretty damn good in this football game. But again, let me know your one word to describe this Texas Tech loss at Arizona State down in the comments below. And before you head out of here, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button for 100% free Texas Tech content all year long, whether it's on the gridiron, the hardwood, portal, incoming freshmen in terms of the recruiting trail or injury news or anything in between. We've got you covered right here on the largest independent Texas Tech YouTube channel in the Red and Black Report. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.